Well, hello everybody. We're going to do a live conservative party. Oh, there we go. Okay, I took Wi-Fi off. Sometimes it doesn't work out too well, especially out here East Rural. Even though it's in the GTA, it's incredible how terrible our infrastructure is here truly. And I don't think 5G, future 6G or 7G, even they have that planned, is really going to matter for Canadians all that much. Now I can see people logging on. I don't see you popped up. I see you're there, but my, what do we do? Anyhow, this is an explosive video. It's a catch up on the Crown, specifically the UK, where Canada professes for the whole world forever and a day constitutionally to bring forth our constitution based primarily on the United Kingdom. What is happening in the UK right now today? Well, folks, UK has the Conservative Party that has shifted leadership 5 times. They don't host elections. They don't do any of that. They shuffle leadership over and over. And are you ready for this? In UK's uncodified living constitution, meaning the politicians create it as they go. You the people? I don't think so. It's UK subjects. Formerly, they did have savages. They were known as the Irish and Scottish. That's real history. I can't make it up. You can't erase that history. It's a lot longer than any of the other colonial history on the world today. It's one of the first shining examples. UK doesn't codify a constitution. Now there are experts attached to the UK Crown going after my narratives, not just mine, American narratives, many we the people define constitutional practices throughout the world. Clearly, they're going after other federalisms, real instituted federalisms throughout the world. That doesn't work for the UK and their narrative of the Crown. Divinity of a politician. It's the divine right of kings. It's one of the oldest, sickest institutes worldwide. UK hasn't made any major aspirations and advancement or anything else from the old world that they took over from Rome. They haven't. They use a simplistic model, a system where they oppress the people they call subjects. They have no codified constitution, meaning rules of governance, how to govern, or really any accountability. That is always a staple of every monarchy, every tyrant government out there known today. Many of the unitaries run that way too, even if they're not monarchies. They're just codified in a republic system just like that. They give that same crown power. So what happened with the Conservatives over the last 5 government prime ministers that they keep shuffling in and out? Well, folks, they dismiss a cabinet. They appoint a whole new cabinet they call Privy Council. Does this sound familiar, Canadians? It should, because the Liberals have shuffled their Privy Council many times. They've been in power now for 7 years. They had one election, yet whenever they have Liberals rebelling in their caucus, they shuffle cabinet. Now, Conservatives in UK, who are the masters of this, Conservative, Labour, Liberal, doesn't matter. They do the exact same thing because they designed Canada's crown system of politicians. And what they do in UK and what they've been doing for 5 straight years is when a prime minister gets caught or the people start getting pissed off, instead of housing an election, dropping the writ and allowing the subjects to vote, the prime minister quits, where a new prime minister is chosen by the party, and they bring forward a brand new cabinet, a lifetime Privy Council. Folks, every time they do that, the UK citizens, not only for the rest of their natural lives, must pay for the cabinet sworn in before, they have to pay forever and a day for the new one sworn in by the new Prime Minister. See the problem here? This is beyond anything of democracy. There's nothing democratic about it. It's to silence all opposition. It's to quiet voices. Hey, don't worry, you don't have to govern anymore. We're going to pay you with a consolidated tax fund that we created, this constitution, this living constitution that allows us to take from taxpayers and make them pay for you in full wages for the rest of their lives, your lives. So you don't have to be in government anymore. You can step aside. The taxpayers will pay you your full wages, your Privy Council wages for the rest of your natural life. If you don't believe me, folks, the living Privy Council live today in Canada is right there for you to go look up on Wikipedia. You can look up all their names in Canada. Where did we get that design from? Well, we got it from the United Kingdom because our Constitution states in the opening preamble, the preliminary, that we will craft this Constitution to match the United Kingdom. We will do that entirely. Majesty after majesty, man or woman, we accept them all in their lineage. We endorse that. We promote that. Our political system, federally and provincially, will run forever and a day in that full autocratic narrative. These are divine human beings, and whomever you elect to take government can continually do that over and over and over again. Now think about it, folks. There's 338 MLAs in Canada on any given party in power. 338, along with the official opposition who gets crown powers too. In Canada, that's Liberals and then Conservatives. There's other parties, they're just as dirty, but in the powers of crown in our Constitution, it's Liberals right now and Conservatives. That's how it works. Same with the UK. They have the same thing. So they can create privy councils. They can use old privy council members like Justin Trudeau can use Pierre Poilievre whenever he wants to. Same thing happened with the Conservatives. Now think about it. They shuffled their cabinet 5 times in less than 5 years, way less than 5 years, 3 years, and had a whole new Privy Council. All of those subjects of UK have to pay all the old ones on top of everyone before the last election and the last government in power, last Prime Minister, plus all the new ones. They quit 3 weeks ago. Sorry, I guess should have set that up better, but I had trouble with the Wi-Fi. It was set up good. Hopefully it's good. And I should have turned off notifications. So, they do this. They do the shuffle. They're going to pay all the new ones plus all the old ones, even though the old ones were literally not even in power for 2 weeks. Can you imagine? $5,055 for the rest of their lives. Oh, and they're sworn to uphold whatever the government does under the crown, which is currently King Charles III. He named himself Rex. That's his ring cipher, which means King of Kings in Latin. That's what it means. That's what he's going to do. That's what he wants. And he just welcomed in a whole new Privy Council. That's what he's doing. For the 5th time in less than a 5-year period. In fact, 3.5 years. 3.5 years. And the UK citizens have no idea. Can you imagine, folks? They will pay all these people who are out without elections for the rest of their lives $5,055 a month for the rest of their lives, whether they serve government or not. But do you think that their voices will ever be in any real opposition ever again? Do you think Pierre Poilievre and Justin Trudeau have a real opposition to each other? I can tell you clearly not. Canadians, Liberals have been pulling this for all 7 years that they've been in power. Conservatives did it before them and the Liberals before that, but Trudeau's doing it at a rate not seen since the current UK Conservatives. They're just that buoyant with it. They're just that in your face with it, and they don't give two shits about any of you. King Charles III, who was Prince Charles up until the death of Queen Elizabeth II, had written many, many narratives. He wrote the Commonwealth Charter. He wrote the Atlantic Charter 2021. He wrote many of the UN agendas that have not been bound in international law. Green New Deal by Joe Biden, written exclusively by was Prince Charles. He wrote it while he was Prince Charles. He wrote the Commonwealth Charter 2012. He did that as Prince Charles. He wrote Agenda 2021. He wrote Agenda 2030. And he's written Agenda 2050. Anyone who doesn't agree to it in his Commonwealth gets swept aside in governments. The leaders, the prime ministers, or the official opposition leaders sweep them out. They get removed. They remain as a Privy Council lifetime member, but their zipper is put on. They are backbenched and then eventually unelected or removed from a party. But that check comes in the mail every month. And for that, for the rest of their life, they keep their mouth shut. They go with the crown. They are the crown. The crown's sworn. They're sworn to secrecy. And they take the monthly check from you, the low-life degenerate subjects and savages. That's all there is defined inside our Constitution, codified. That's all that's written and defined in our laws forever and a day. Other than that, the real power of the people is only the political people, the crown, the politicians whom you elect. Those are the only people clearly and articulated throughout your Canadian Constitution, written and amended 13 times. So people, if you haven't read it, from 1867, there's been a number of years of more constitutional acts. The last one major being 1982. We all know that alive and well today. Lots of people pull the charter up and say, oh look, oh look, oh look. Did you know from 1867 there's been 13 amendments just as big and to scale as the 1982 Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the amendments made. There's been 13 of those. Goes all the way, 1915, 1876. We can go on and on and on and on. And maybe I should do that just to educate people what they don't know. We say consolidated because we take all of them together as they are, and the changes made from 1867 all the way to finally 1982. We've had small amendments. We've had Supreme Court of Canada amendments. But folks, that's the act. Consolidated now, what I present to people is what's still alive from 1867, every amendment ever made since, all the way to 1982. And we just had 2 done this year, small, some amendments, tiny ones to Saskatchewan and to Quebec. People don't like to read that stuff. They don't care. They don't even bother to read their Constitution. Liberals have been shuffling their Privy Council every time voices try to bring up these concerns. As soon as they bring them up, they're shuffled to backbench, paid out, they get on top of their wages, a lifetime Privy Council check. Zip your lip, shut it, don't say a word, play the game. Pierre Poilievre swore that oath more than 20 years ago now. He's been a lifetime Privy Council for a very, very long time. Absolutely sworn to His Majesty King Charles III. You can go on Twitter and you'll see the day of Pierre Poilievre swears his oath right to King Charles. Green New Deal, Agenda 2021, Agenda 2030, and 2050. That is all your leaders of all your parties. Not one of them is going against Charles. Why? Because Pierre Poilievre, like Justin Trudeau and all of his Privy Council and all those still alive today, have all taken an oath. They get a monthly check to do that. That is the Constitution of Canada, forever and a day, not amended, not removed, that remains entirely from 1867. 2/3 of our Consolidated Constitutional Act of Canada remains forever unamended, unchanged from 1867. Your first 2/3 of your Constitutional Act of Canada tell you all of these things. They roll it out step by step by step. Even the Consolidated Taxation Without Representation Fund that both Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre get to exploit at absolutely all of your expenses. Taxation without representation. Now, is Jagmeet saying exactly the same thing? Of course he is. Of course he is. Unfortunately, I can't nail his ass to the wall because he's not officially opposition, not His Majesty's official opposition. Is he attached to Trudeau? Will he be worse than Trudeau? Probably. But folks, the question is, as official opposition, why is Pierre Poilievre not talking about any of these things? Why is it that the civil societies that come forward from the Conservatives that I'm having a real hard time with, I'm going to war literally with the UK Conservatives now who act exactly like our Canadian Liberals and are fighting the idea of we the people. They're literally at war with that idea. They're at war with the idea of constitutionally codifying, meaning putting in written powers of governance, rules of governance, how to govern, and accountability, the idea of we the people. Of course they're against it. They view you all as their slaves who need to be under their divine power where their wealth grows and yours goes down. Canada, Canadians, you won't get this from any Conservative pack. You won't get this from even the Taxpayers Federation. And I know them all very well. I've known quite a few of their presidents over the last 20 years. One's a personal friend of mine. And they don't want you to know that in the last 7 months, you've taken on $1.4 trillion in corporate liability, meaning corporations have borrowed monies from all over the world, including your government. Lots of government corporations too, but even private, even though the government corporations and civil societies literally attached to government have borrowed astronomical sums. And if they go bankrupt, you're liable for their $1.4 trillion of borrowed monies that is well beyond any realm of borrowing in the history of Canada, meaning that's more money borrowed than corporations are supposed to be and have access to. but the government waived it. Just like household debt, they waived it. This is not federal government of Canada debt. Although huge, this is corporate liabilities tied to you, the subjects, and you, the savages, as well as household debts attached to you, the subjects, and you, the savages. Because if they can't pay, you have to pay. We're watching this unfold tonight with Lowe's and Rhoda. The jig's up for that company. And guess what, folks? $3.2 billion to set up shop in Canada. Major global enterprise. $2.8 billion of those liabilities are attached to you. The promise of those loans are attached to you, the subjects and savages. You can thank the Conservatives and Liberals right here in Canada for that. All they're getting paid out is $400 million cash from a company in New York. Conglomerate of companies in New York. $400 million cash goes to the corporate owners and the shareholders, while the $2.8 billion of liability goes to you. Should have turned off notifications. Goes to you, the subjects and savages. That's where we're at, guys. That's the video. Share, share, share. Get it out there. Get the knowledge going. It's not about left or right. It's about the truth. And the sooner we start addressing the truth, sooner we can start fixing the country. Because, folks, if we don't do that, there is no hope for us. King Charles has an agenda. He's got all 54 of his nations led by Canada. Number one, meaning Conservative, Liberal, NDP, Green. People just like to ruin videos. Folks, I gotta go. Share, share, share. Get it out there. None of the parties are ever going to change. This is their system. This is their design. Next time I'll shut off notifications. Sorry, everybody. Have a great night. Bye now.